That's right. Okay.
We are live now on YouTube.
Great. Shannon, why don't you go ahead and start the webinar?
Start.
Welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to be here for the Super Crowd Hour in December. We've got with us today just an extraordinary guest speaker. We've got uh, Dorian Dickinson, who is just an extraordinary human being and a genuine leader on the planet, a great leader of this movement to use investment crowdfunding to build communities. And I'll give you a full, better introduction in a few minutes, but we've got a couple of things that we want to just cover quickly before we get started in earnest today. I want to acknowledge our sponsors. Purpose Rounds is a key sponsor, and they're helping customers transform communities into owners and advocates. They've developed the thesis that you can really uh, make expand your community around purpose. It's a very exciting concept. I encourage you to explore their work. Halyard Compliance is another critical sponsor for us, and they help portals and companies with their compliance around uh, 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 the regulations of investment crowdfunding. We have a variety of supporting co-hosts: Rotary, Move the Needle with Rob Kaplan, Amoeba, and Ridgecrest Herbals, and Funding Hope. We're grateful for Dorian and his support, and the Super Crowd as well. We're grateful for our co-hosts: CFPA, Gig Group, Jenny Cassin's the Cassin Group, Mashup Labs, Crowdfund Better, Community Vision Solutions, Crowdfund Main Street, and CrowdMax Publishing. We're grateful for all of their support. I want to thank and acknowledge Chandon, who's here with us in the studio, remotely working with us to produce this webinar. We're grateful for his help and support. I want to note that we'll talk about money a little bit today. This is intended to be educational. This is not investment advice. So we encourage you to get proper investment advice before you make investments. We are excited about our new rewards program and encourage you to check this out. But if you attend 10 Super Crowd Hour webinars, we'll give you $100 to invest in a regulation crowdfunding deal. And you can start today. If you attended last month, you can get credit for that one as well. But to get credit, you have to be in the Zoom room. Now, if you are watching right now on YouTube, I encourage you to hop over to thesupercrowd.com, click on the link for events, scroll down to the December Super Crowd Hour, and follow the links to register. And you can quickly register and join via Zoom. We accept the tardy attendees who join us via Zoom, but we want you in the Zoom room because there in the Zoom room, we'll track attendance and credit you toward your $100 regulation crowdfunding investment reimbursement. So we hope you'll join us again, and you can see the full rewards at rewards.4sc.fund. We also want to invite you to join our informal Impact Cherub Club. This is a group of small angel investors. That's what a cherub is, right? A baby angel. And we are focused on impact. We have monthly meetings on the third Tuesday of every month at 1 Eastern. That's 10 Pacific. And you can sign up to join us at impactcherub.com. We hope to see you. We also have an important event coming up in Baltimore on March 21st, and I want to invite you to be a part of that as well. On March 21st, we'll be hosting holding this event in Baltimore, SuperCrowd Baltimore. It'll be an all-day in-person event, and this is going to be an amazing day. We've got an amazing roster of speakers and a great crowd, great opportunity for investors to meet entrepreneurs and vice versa. Very focused on what we're talking about today, community building, but they're in Baltimore. Let me tell you about our speaker today, Dorian Dickinson. Dorian is a genuinely extraordinary human being. And every day that I spend time with him, I am richer for it. And you'll get a lot out of today's session. He is the CEO and founder of Funding Hope. And he's focused much of the last 15 years on community building. And he's also working on directly financing solutions to the UN's SDGs, looking at how that is relevant both right in his own community in Chicago and how that applies globally. I was able to spend some time in the last few days with Dorian. He just got back not long ago from COP28, had some exciting, wonderful experiences, hobnobbing with some of the most powerful people in the world working to address climate change. For Rahm Emanuel's administration in Chicago, he developed a citywide crime prevention program, building on his early career as a state police officer. He also received the Kentucky Colonel designation, the highest civilian honor that the governor of Kentucky can bestow. He's a remarkable guy. We're thrilled to have an opportunity to hear from him today. And with that, will turn the time over to Dorian. Dorian, welcome.
Welcome, Devin. Thanks so much. Thank you for the warm introduction as well. I'm looking forward to discussing how investment crowdfunding can be used to help build stronger communities, which is where we all would like to see financing go from there. As Devin said, for the last 15 plus years, I have been focused on bringing economic development opportunities, democratizing economic development, and working on rural development programs here in the States, as well as in developing countries and in conflict zones. So I think I bring a unique perspective to showing how investment crowdfunding has the opportunity to build stronger communities, because I've witnessed firsthand exactly the impact providing funding and financing to small businesses can help grow and build cleaner, safer, and healthier communities where the impact is. With that, I'd like to get just a little bit of housekeeping out of the way to kind of bump up with Devin's disclaimer. We also have a disclaimer that regulation crowdfunding investments, including those on our platform, Funding Hope, are highly speculative, illiquid, and subject to the risk of loss of the entire amount invested. We are not a registered broker-dealer. We are an SEC registered and regulated FINRA member investment crowdfunding portal. And this is not to be taken as any investment advice, and we encourage you to seek investment and legal advice before making any investments. So with that, I'd like to have a little bit of an introduction. I won't spend too much time on this since we all are here because we know what crowdfunding is as a method of raising capital through a group effort, through collective effort, friends, family, customers, and the general public. Everyone can be an investor in crowdfunding. And it encompasses various types of crowdfunding, including donation-based, rewards-based, and then debt and equity investment crowdfunding. What crowdfunding does is it really democratizes the process of raising funds for small businesses and gives small businesses the opportunity to look to numerous locations, numerous venues, and beyond traditional banks and Wall Street for funding a new business or new idea. So that will lead us right into the investment crowdfunding sector, which involves individuals investing in startups, entrepreneurs, founders, in exchange for either an equity stake or debt repayment with a potential for return. There are no guaranteed returns. This is investing, and there aren't guaranteed returns, but there is a potential for return. Investment crowdfunding opens up opportunities to a wider audience, allowing nearly everyone to invest in private companies. And in the United States, investment crowdfunding is regulated by SEC to protect the investor. And building strong communities with investment crowdfunding is transformative. It really is a unique opportunity and financial empowerment for collaborative engagement between individuals and small businesses. As we move into communities and how we can build stronger communities with investment crowdfunding, it's community crowdfunding, and it fosters that sense of ownership and pride within the community and with the people that have made the investments. And it builds solidarity among residents. Everyone gets behind the businesses that they're helping support in their community. A little bit about the evolution of crowdfunding and where it came from. Not many people realize crowdfunding really goes back to 1885, when Joseph Pulitzer decided he was going to launch a fundraising campaign to help construct and build the platform for the Statue of Liberty, which was a gift. But we needed to have some infrastructure built for it. And he went and ran a campaign in his newspaper, the New York World, and he raised $101,000 from 160,000 donors, becoming really the first established crowdfunding campaign in America. Jumping forward a number of years to the early 2000s, online crowdfunding started. It was usually donation and reward-based crowdfunding, and Artist Share was one of the first platforms to be out there in 2003. And it really started that trend toward crowdfunding. Come around 2008, 2009, the financial crisis really led to tightened bank lending and increasing the need for alternative financing as seed funding became more challenging from traditional sources. And remember this as I get through the presentation. I'm going to circle back to this because many of the things that we're seeing today are the same situation where we had tightened tightened bank lending, limited venture capital and private equity investment in small businesses and founders, and innovation really struggled. So as we move forward, crowdfunding and investment crowdfunding can really be a bridge between sustainable finance and growing innovative small businesses, especially in disadvantaged and rural communities. But in 2012, the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Jobs Act was signed, and the Title III of the act is known as the Crowdfund Act, which legalized investment crowdfunding. Between 2013 and 2015, the SEC became involved and started to set up regulations to protect the investor from there. But in May 2016, regulation crowdfunding, also known as Reg CF, comes into effect. And it started from there. 2017 and 2019 saw rapid growth in the number of platforms. It increased the diversity of types of businesses and projects funded through investment crowdfunding. And then our old friend COVID comes in 2020. What COVID did is one of the positive aspects of COVID was that it really brought a surge of support for small businesses across America. It really opened up that opportunity for platforms to be the launchpad for numerous small businesses and communities. In 2021, Reg CF was raised from $1.07 million a company could raise in a year to $5 million. This really boosted the potential for larger campaigns, attracting more serious investors to come along with the everyday investor, and then really gave the opportunity for companies to grow. So today in Reg CF, companies can raise up to $5 million per year. And then in 2022 and 23, after that boost, saw more campaigns coming on board, and there were more diverse campaigns and platforms, including Funding Hope, which received its regulatory approval in August of 2023. Now let's talk a little bit about investment crowdfunding and community, of how that really can work from there. So local real estate development is one of the areas where crowdfunding and community can come together. Projects like restoring historic buildings, development of privately owned affordable housing, they've all been done through investment crowdfunding. The renovation of an old theater and community center of a small town and turning it into a vibrant public space. can be a success story of community engagement revitalization, funded by local investors from there. Community-owned businesses, the small business on the corner that needs funding to grow, to be able to expand, to be able to hire more local people and create local jobs, as well as the business that has been in a generational business and that the founders are going out of business. They're retiring. It's their time to leave, but they don't have somebody to come behind it. Crowdfunding can help a group of investors go in and purchase that business and continue to operate it, keeping it alive and keeping the vibrancy going within a community from there. Renewable energy is great for building stronger communities. Sustainable solar power and wind turbine projects being able to be launched with community support, knowing that that's going to help people in the community lower their utility bills, being able to get a repayment through savings from there. Education and culture of new libraries, privately funded art centers, early educational opportunities, innovative education programs, especially in at-risk communities, can be a huge benefit to a community and can all be sourced through investment crowdfunding. Local food and agriculture production, crowdfunding has supported a number of different projects, everything from urban farms and community gardens to sustainable farming initiatives. These projects really promote local food production, food security, and can also provide educational opportunities for community members. Those touch on 3 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals of alleviating poverty, ending hunger, and improved education for all from there. Local infrastructure and public space improvements, parks, playgrounds, transit community centers have all been funded through investment crowdfunding over the years. Seeing rideshare programs, seeing programs with community biking or scooter programs can all be funded using community investment crowdfunding and really be a drive for the community. Tech and innovation hubs, not just the hub itself or the small business incubator, but the member businesses as they grow, that they all need additional funding and need to be able to access that funding. Investment crowdfunding, partnering within the communities and partnering with tech and innovation hubs can really help these businesses grow and give them more exposure beyond the communities. Health and wellness centers and clinics in underserved areas are a great boost and a great way to create a cleaner, healthier community by funding these companies through investment crowdfunding. Stronger communities. As I mentioned in the beginning, I know firsthand how investment can actually grow stronger communities from there. It can improve public lighting. It can give people more of an opportunity to get out, to be able to engage, and to be able to feel as though they're part of a vibrant community from there. In short, investment crowdfunding can be a powerful tool for building stronger communities because it's providing accessible financing, fostering local engagement, economic growth, supporting social and environmental initiatives, offering transparent and accountable funding models that build trust and benefit both the investors and the community from there. But as we do a deeper dive into how this can really benefit the community in the long run, enhancing access to capital. Crowdfunding and investment crowdfunding provides essential capital for starting or expanding local businesses. The infusion of funds can enable businesses to increase production, improve services, or expand their operations, directly leading to the creation of new jobs. Moreover, stronger businesses can stimulate the economy, circulating money within the community and beyond from there. Stimulating the local supply chain. So as one business thrives, there's a ripple effect on the local supply chain, increasing demands for goods and services, and then opening it up to more opportunity for investment crowdfunding in a community and to help the community, because those businesses will need additional funding and access to funding as we move forward. Revitalizing neighborhoods and attracting investment. As investment proves to be wherewithal and grow a community, grow businesses within the community, it's going to attract more investment. As more investment is attracted, the community is going to continue to grow more from there. engagement and ownership. Individuals investing in these businesses, they care about, foster a sense of ownership and connection with these businesses that are in the community. It means something for the businesses, and it means something for the investors to make sure that business thrives. Active participation strengthens that community bond, actually builds brand ambassadors for the company that's raising money. Social and environmental changes. Investment in these sustainable energy projects or transit alternatives, wellness centers lead to long-term benefits that really lay the foundation for a much stronger community that will last for generations. Innovation and entrepreneurship. Being able to fund a business through investment crowdfunding will lead to more businesses and more entrepreneurs coming out and developing new ideas, building on innovation. Innovation comes from small businesses and growth, not large corporations. Supporting that local entrepreneurship will lead to new solutions to community challenges and develop new products and services for the community. The returns from investment crowdfunding have a lot of social impact as well. It offers for the potential financial return for sure. It aligns with personal financial goals of wanting to leave a mark or leave the planet in better condition than we found it, and can attract a broader range of investors, increasing funding for different projects throughout the community. Issuers in investment crowdfunding need to provide regular updates and transparent accounting. That engagement with the investors increases accountability, builds trust with their investors and the broader community. Investment crowdfunding models are scalable and replicable. Successful campaigns serve as models for communities and demonstrate the viability of community-based funding. So as one succeeds, it's going to continue to grow, and more are going to grow. So it encourages that replication throughout the community and the region. There are numerous economic impacts from crowdfunding and building stronger communities. Successful campaigns can significantly contribute to local economic growth and job creation in several ways. Supporting and expanding local businesses. Crowdfunding provides essential capital for starting or expanding local businesses. Stimulating the local supply chain, as I said, when one business thrives, the others will also thrive. Encouraging entrepreneurship and startups. It lowers the barrier to entry for entrepreneurs and startups, providing an alternative to traditional funding sources. Many of these companies and many of these founders are parts of groups who have historically been left behind by small banks and Wall Street. Revitalizing neighborhoods and attracting investment. Successful crowdfunding projects can attract additional investment into the area as well. And can include real estate development, new business openings in the area, and increased interest from outside investors, all contribute to the economic growth of the region and the community from there. Developing infrastructure and public amenities, crowdfunding for infrastructure projects like the parks and local renewable energy initiatives can create construction and maintenance jobs, creating more local jobs for the community, being able to expand the economic development footprint of the community. Moreover, improved infrastructure can make the area more attractive, safer, and attract new businesses and new residents. Promoting green jobs and sustainability. Investment in these projects such as community-supported agriculture, renewable energy, sustainable manufacturing contributes to the creation of green jobs and new green jobs in the community. These jobs not only support the local economy, but they align with broader sustainability goals. And enhancing education and training opportunities. Some crowdfunding campaigns have focused on educational initiatives, and we're seeing more crowdfunding campaigns being focused on educational initiatives or job training programs, directly creating opportunities for local educators and the trainers, and indirectly contributing to the workforce development in the community. There are also numerous social impacts from investment crowdfunding and building stronger communities. Collective participation and ownership. When community members invest in local projects or businesses, they gain a sense of ownership and vested interest in the success of these endeavors. This collective participation fosters a strong sense of community as individuals work toward common goals, enhancing social cohesion and mutual support, empowering local decision making. Crowdfunding allows communities to directly fund projects and businesses they believe in, giving them a voice, giving the individuals a voice in local development decision making. The empowerment can strengthen the community as a whole and ties residents uh, to be more connected and responsible for the growth and well-being of their neighborhood and community. Celebrating shared successes is a great social impact. The success of a crowdfunding project is a shared achievement that can boost community pride because the investors know that they are part of that organization. They feel the same pride that the business does when it thrives. And it creates a sense of collective accomplishment, reinforcing the community's ability to make tangible differences on there. Enhancing the community identity and character. Investment in local projects helps preserve and enhance the unique identity and character of a community, whether it's supporting a local cultural event, restoring a building, or funding community garden. These projects contribute to a sense of place and community pride. Building networks and relationships. The process of investment crowdfunding involves communication, collaboration, and networking among the community members, the business owner, and the investors. That interaction, whether it be face to face or online, helps build those new relationships and strengthens existing ones, fostering a more interconnected community. Using investment crowdfunding to address local needs and challenges enables communities to address specific local needs and challenges, from improving public amenities to supporting vulnerable groups within the community who need that investment to grow their businesses. Addressing these issues not only improves the quality of life in the community, but also instills a sense of pride in the community's ability to care for its members. Creating inspirational stories and role models. As one succeeds, more will want to succeed. As community members see that one small business was successful, they will want to participate and also try an investment crowdfunding campaign to help them grow and expand from there. The environmental impacts of investment crowdfunding and community building can't be undersold. Promoting renewable energy projects, supporting sustainable agriculture and food systems that we've talked about, conservation programs and wildlife from innovative new businesses and techniques, sustainable transportation within the community, and growing green, eco-friendly buildings, all can be funded with investment crowdfunding. Waste reduction programs from innovative founders, educational programs, environmental programs, and environmental tech development, all build into climate change resilience and help the community grow in a much more sustainable manner as we move forward. Launching a campaign, especially to help build this stronger community, has some things you need to prepare for your launch and really look at planning and strategy. Articulating the purpose of your raise. Why are you doing it? Why do you need to raise money? Is it to grow your business? Are you creating new local jobs? How are you expanding? What other logistic needs you're going to have when you're doing your raise? And setting a measurable goal for your raise. You want to succeed. You have the opportunity to set a minimum and a maximum of what your raise is going to be. Setting a measurable goal will help you achieve that goal and then instill faith and trust in the investors who've invested with you, where they have a better feel that they have that potential for return. Understanding who your target audience, target message and audience is, knowing who your investor is, who's that target investor, who's your customer. Your customer and your customer's persona are the exact people you want to be able to reach. So you want to speak to them and tell that story using video and engaging content. Something else that is very important is choosing the right platform. There are now nearly 100 crowdfunding platforms registered with the SEC in the United States. Being able to look at what they are, who they are, what they stand for is an important part of choosing that right platform to help you succeed with your investment crowdfunding campaign. Marketing and transparency are very important in investment crowdfunding. Utilizing social media, engaging with local media will give you a chance to help build that trust and also get your message out to help succeed in your investment crowdfunding campaign. Sharing your campaign with the community. You're asking the community to be behind you. Make sure that you're sharing with them at every opportunity that you can. Make sure that you get your message out to them repeatedly and have them really feel like they're a part of this raise as well. Preparing for transparent financial plan with realistic targets for your campaign is very important. Investors want to see what your plan is, what your use of money and funds is going to be, and they want to get behind what your financial plan is. So having a detailed financial plan is very important to the success of an investment crowdfunding campaign. Communicate and engage. Communicate and engage. Make sure that you're responding to questions from potential investors. You have to lead them down the path to want to invest with you. So being able to provide information that allows them to ask the right questions back to you that you can answer will help build that trust and get to know the investors and move forward in a proactive manner. And report on your outcomes. Let the community know how you're doing. You can build the fear of missing out by showing them that other community members are getting behind you and want to expand from there. And most importantly, be honest. Be honest with your filings. Be honest with what you're saying as you start to move through the process of developing an investment crowdfunding campaign. It's not easy. People often ask, well, how hard can it be? Well, it can be very hard and it can be very difficult. And there are going to be challenges, but there are solutions to those challenges. Common challenges that we see in investment crowdfunding include negativity and bias. People say, why would you want to do that? That's never going to work. Regulatory issues. The regulatory process is intense and detailed. Make sure that you pay very good attention to what your requirements are, understand what those requirements are before you start down the process of organizing your investment crowdfunding campaign, and be confident that you know that you can achieve the regulatory compliance that's necessary. Reaching funding goals is not easy. Still, the majority of crowdfunding campaigns do not meet their goal. So being able to be resilient and flexible in your path forward to make sure that you'll reach your goal is an important obstacle that you have to overcome. Community engagement. Sometimes people will put an investment crowdfunding campaign out, send a message out to the campaign, to the community, and then not follow up. It's important to stay engaged with the community on a continual basis during your raise and make sure your messaging is clear, concise, and accurate. Maintaining your investor relations is very important. When you have someone that's invested in your business once, they're the prime target to invest in your business a second time. They're only going to invest in your business again if you maintain a relationship with them and if you keep them updated on your progress and growth as a company. And then post-campaign compliance is something that is sometimes forgotten by issuers and should not be, that you do have requirements after the campaign to be able to remain compliant and continue to report your revenue and growth to the SEC and to your investors. It's not a set it and forget it. Investment crowdfunding is a long-term commitment that requires you to continue to report and provide information. Mitigating these risks, giving you a better chance of success and minimizing the risk of failure includes thorough planning and research. Do a feasibility study and a market analysis before you go down the road of planning your investment crowdfunding campaign. Having transparent communication with clear disclosure of the risks of crowdfunding, that there is a risk to investors to potentially lose all of the money that they've invested in your business. Provide those regular updates. Keep investors informed about the project's progress and any emerging risks or changes in circumstances. Things happen, and things happen when you're in the middle of your raise. So you want to make sure that you stay in touch with those investors throughout the process. legal compliance and due diligence. Adherence to those regulations is very important for the success of your investment crowdfunding campaign and your business. Seek legal counsel and engage them to review campaign materials and investment terms to ensure they meet the legal standards. Financial risk management, realistic budgeting, creating realistic budgets that include contingency funds for unexpected costs is important for investors to see, and diversified funding sources. If you want to look beyond crowdfunding to mitigate the risk of not reaching your funding goal. Set your realistic goals, as we've talked about a couple of times, that reflect the project's needs and likely level of interest from investors. Investor screening, screen them for suitability, particularly for equity crowdfunding, where investment experience might be relevant as well. Have robust project management, project planning tools, and risk assessment, continually assessing and managing the risks throughout the project of the project's life cycle from there. Insurance and liability protection is important to make sure that you're going to be protected, your investors are protected, and your business is protected moving forward. And stakeholder engagement, again, engage with all stakeholders, including the investors, your customers, and community members, to understand their concerns and expectations of being able to invest in your business. All in all, I believe the future of investment crowdfunding to build stronger communities is looking bright. As more people become aware of investment crowdfunding and how investment crowdfunding in communities can create safer, cleaner, and healthier communities, I believe more companies will be turning to raise investment crowdfunding to raise capital, and more everyday investors will be looking at investment crowdfunding to help fund small businesses in their community. And with that, Devin, I'd like to kick it back to you. And thank you again for this opportunity to discuss a little bit about how investment crowdfunding can help build stronger communities. And I'd like to continue the conversation with you.
Well, Dorian, that's a great presentation. You really took us through some important concepts, and I'm grateful for the discussion. I think we're going to have some great follow-up questions here. We've got one from Carl Dakin, whom you may know. Carl is a real leader in the industry, and he's asking, the benefits that arise from a crowdfunding community project will vary widely with different members of the community. What would you recommend in identifying, quantifying, qualifying, and communicating these benefits?
I think you really have to look at who that potential investor is in the community and really tailor that message to them. So you're going to have more than one message that you're going to want to get out to the community members and be able to engage with them based on what their persona is and what their needs are to be able to address a number of factors when you're raising funds from the community, from there. They're your friends, and they're your neighbors, and they may be your family. So you want to be able to touch on what is their hotspot and what they want to help solve by investing in your business.
Great response there. Dorian, I want to drill down a little bit on a couple of process questions. It's so critically important for us to build the community of investors, right? And you pointed out that virtually everyone is eligible to be an investor, but the reality is many people don't see themselves as investors. And for some people, it's easier to figure out how to donate $100 than to invest $100, even though that seems so counterintuitive to me as an active investor. But how would you coach someone to do quick, efficient due diligence so that they can make investments and not feel overwhelmed by that process?
Yeah, I think by looking and making sure that you're working with SEC registered crowdfunding portal, being able to review the disclosures that are on the company lists in their campaign, being able to really read through the documents there, you have the opportunity to be able to engage with the owners of the business and ask whatever questions that you feel you need to ask to be able to be comfortable to invest in the campaign. I think that's, once we get them to the platform or get them to an investment platform, they're at least open to that idea. I think as an industry, we have a lot of work to do to tell people what investment crowdfunding is, and then being able to show them that everyone can be an investor. It's not just telling somebody to go invest in a company. You want to let them know that they can be an investor. And once you give that ownership to them, I think they're going to become much more engaged. And I think we're going to see more people come back more than once to invest in additional businesses where they can invest in what's important to them.
You know, another reality I think that entrepreneurs face and other issuers, right? Even I think about a municipality or a nonprofit that wants to do some sort of public infrastructure thing, like you were talking about, some sort of parks and rec kind of thing, including those that would generate revenue and have opportunity. But they're not traditional issuers. But you also have, small business owners who have no idea. It's one thing to be able to sort of follow the instructions of a hand-holding banker who says that here's the application process for a loan. It's a lot more intimidating to talk about issuing, you know, equity or bonds or notes and all the crazy words that go around when we start talking about securities. A lot of times people just want to have someone to talk to. Uh, are you open to calls from people who want that first step? And if you're not, where do you point people when they just need to talk about how do we get started in all of this?
Yeah, I think one thing potential investors really should take advantage of is on every investment platform, there are educational materials, investor educational materials. I think it's very important for the general public to really engage with that. We really, at Funding Hope, we really try to make sure that any potential investor knows how to find those investor educational materials on our site, our FAQs, being able to read through all of that information, get all the background information they need to really be able to invest. Uh, and really support the businesses that are important to them. But really, educating the public is very important, and we take it very seriously. Being able to find ways and new innovative ways to engage with the public, to educate them on what investment crowdfunding is, as well as what the UN Sustainable Development Goals are, and why we're focused on connecting investors with founders who are contributing to sustainability in disadvantaged and rural communities where the money really will have a serious impact when you support a small business in these communities.
Yeah, great feedback. So Dorian, we've got a a challenging question, perhaps from Suspiter Nguji. He says, how different do you position your presentation to crowdfund in an environment where previously funded projects have only a 45% success rate, with startups closing down a few months after raising funds?
Yeah, I think certainly working in disadvantaged communities is a challenge, and it's an additional challenge that businesses have when they're launching from there. We really encourage the small business owner and the founder to really get their message out, to really show why they're different, why they have a better chance to succeed, and be able to help their community by through investment crowdfunding. Just because a business failed the first time doesn't mean the second one will. It's really up to the founder to make sure that they're crafting that message and telling their story in an effective way that shows that they are actually bringing an advantage, a competitive advantage to the marketplace that reduces that risk of failure.
Great, great response. As you, Dorian, think about, you were talking about kind of public infrastructure a little bit, and that is really an intriguing notion because most of us aren't thinking about that. Most of us are thinking about companies. And yet it makes such beautiful sense for whether it's a nonprofit or a public entity or a quasi-public entity, state chartered nonprofit kind of thing. All kinds of different, there's a whole spectrum of stuff, isn't there, around municipal governments and state governments and the entities that circle in their orbits that help manage public infrastructure. In most cases, they can't issue equity, and so they don't think about crowdfunding. But why don't you talk a little bit about the structures that are available that aren't equity that could work for those projects and make them structured so that they could have a return to investors and be affordable for the public entities and help build the communities in just the way you're describing.
Yeah, we hear from non-governmental organizations, NGOs, quite often. We actually hear from some communities of saying, geez, we wish we could raise an investment crowdfunding. When you look at the NGO and you look at other organizations that are out there, what their model could be, they can go out and debt raise. So where they're struggling with what the market rate is for loans, there may be an opportunity for them to be able to do peer-to-peer lending programs, of being able to set up a campaign where their debt repayment is of an interest rate that they can handle, and the community will understand that, because nobody knows that organization better than their founders and what their needs are. So they're able to set their own terms with investment crowdfunding and being able to come up with that plan of repayment from there. So it doesn't have to be equity. It's not only an equity situation. There can be debt, there can be convertible notes for businesses as well, and some other convertible securities that can be there. So thinking outside the box of what, as a founder, what you can really afford to repay and how you can repay it, and communicate that message clearly to potential investors, will build that trust and that credibility with them.
That's,
Devin, you were talking about the infrastructure aspect.
Yeah,
that rings so true to me right now, because we've been approached by groups that are either working with public-private partnerships, where the private company needs to bring certain assets to the project to be able to develop it, or small private companies that are bringing innovative electric vehicle solutions to last mile delivery in communities, where those are really the modern infrastructure development aspects of it. And these companies are looking to expand and grow, and they know that what their growth rate's going to be, and they're looking for additional capital now to be able to help them advance their project in the community there where they are.
yeah. It really is exciting to think about all the different ways that crowdfunding, regulation crowdfunding, investment crowdfunding, what I like to call impact crowdfunding, can support community building. It really is exciting. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Before we wrap up, do you want to share any closing thoughts to help us wrap up this session? Any final ideas?
Devin, you just said it right there. You said you like to call it impact crowdfunding from there. And I've kind of taken your term over the last few months and tried to get it out there as well, because that's really what it is. It's impact crowdfunding. And then when we look at how it can build stronger communities, it's really community crowdfunding, where we're getting behind that. And there's that opportunity to get the entire community involved to help with a raise. Because they're going to realize the benefits, they're going to see the benefits firsthand. And just like a business getting their customers behind them to do a raise, getting the community behind the issuer to do a raise is really going to increase that likelihood of success. It's going to build trust. It's going to open up more opportunities for expanding investment crowdfunding as we move forward. And as I said, I think the future for investment crowdfunding is bright. I think the future for investment crowdfunding when it comes to helping build stronger communities is even brighter. And by working together, we are going to create healthier, cleaner, and safer communities.
Well, Dorian, thank you so much for being with us today. I want to thank all of those of you who participated today, who joined us, both those of you who participated in the Zoom. Again, you earned credit toward your rewards, and I congratulate you for that. I also want to acknowledge those who will watch, who did watch live and who will watch the recording. We really appreciate you participating, and really thank you for being a part of the Super Crowd. And with that, we'll adjourn. Thanks, everybody. Take care now.